Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Amateur Commentator. This is the second installment in our three-part series on IPL auctions and the team analysis. Anshul and I have been dissecting the various IPL franchise and their auction strategies. In first part of this series, we looked into the two new teams, Lucknow Super Giants, Gujarat Titans, along with them Punjab Kings and Sunrisers Hyderabad. In this part, that is part two, we'll be looking into Rajasthan Royals, Royal Challengers Bangalore, and the Kolkata Knight Riders. But before we move to our second video, I would like to request you all to please subscribe to our channel, like and share our content, and spread the word about the Amateur Commentator. So let's move to the next team, Anshul. Let's talk about Rajasthan Royals. I thought that they had some good retention. Sanju Samson, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Josh Butler. I felt that they had sealed their top three, and then they went and bought Devdutt Padikkal as well. So now I think I don't know what their top four is going to be. I heard them say that Devdutt will be coming in first down. They have one of the best spin attack in Ashwin and Chahal, perhaps the best spin attack in the tournament. How do you rate Rajasthan's auction and how do you see their playing 11?
See, I'll start from the first season when they won the trophy in the first edition of the IPL. I would say this team is much better than the team which won the starting season. There are a lot of good players. We have a very good set of Indian players, even in the bowlers, even in the batsmen. But one thing which, again, as even we have spoken about the other teams as well, it's their top 11 is very good. They have a very good top 11, but they do not have a very good replacements. Even for Rassi Vanderson is one of the player who is in form, but I'm not sure whether he will get in the team ahead of Shimron Hetmyer. That is one of the concerns which I feel. And it's the same case when we talk about, say, for example, Ashwin or Chahal. There are options when we talk about, say, Kariappa is there. They have also picked up, few new young spinners. But outside playing 11, when I'm forming, they do not look a very good side. Another concern for me is the leadership of Sanju Samson. I'm not sure how capable a leader he is. Yes, we saw a few good matches what Rajasthan were able to win last time. But when you have Yashasvi Jaiswal, Devdutt Padikkal, and Josh Butler in the top three, Riyan Parag is still very young. Yes, he has shown glimpses of brilliance, but he is also in the similar boat as what we talked about, Abdul Samad or Abhishek Sharma. He has got only limited opportunities. So I'm not too convinced about the middle order for Rajasthan Royals, but their bowling looks pretty decent with Prasidh Krishna, Trent Bolt, Jimmy Neesham. They have a pretty solid and a strong bowling lineup, but their middle order is very weak. That is a big concern for me.
So you will go with Jimmy Neesham ahead of Coulter Nile to give more batting to the team, or will it be Coulter Nile?
I would.
So what will your 11 be? So what will your 11 be actually? Let's go with that.
Yeah, for me, I would play Jaiswal, Butler, Padikkal, Sanju Samson. Yes, I would play Vanderdussen ahead of Hetmyer because of the current form. And Hetmyer has not played a lot of cricket. He is also not in shame, in the 2020 and the one-day side of West Indies. Riyan Parag, yes, I will give him a chance. Then I will probably go with Neesham, Ashwin, Bolt, Chahal, and Krishna. What that will allow me is I will have 5 good bowlers, 5 decent bowlers. Then you have like an underarm kind of action from Riyan Parag if required. But I'm sure the 5 bowlers which I have would do the job for me. We are talking about, say, for example, if Rajasthan are in contention to move towards playoffs, then the availability of Josh Butler will be important. Then it will be difficult for them to form the top order, because when you are opening with Jaiswal and Padikkal, you do not have the firepower. Then you will bring in Hetmyer in the middle order. So that is one concern where the balance of the team might get disturbed. But if Butler is not performing in the top of the order, they have serious problem. For me, Butler has to be, if he is not in form, it will be a major challenge for Rajasthan to get off the blocks.
So I guess in case Butler is not available for whatever, how many soever matches that he's not available for, I would rather have a Daryl Mitchell go and open. He will give me a few overs. I will not have to change the middle order. I agree that Van der Dusen and Simran Hetmyer, there is a possibility that the team will first go for Hetmyer, considering that Hetmyer has IPL experience. He did well for Delhi. But saying that, the team looks pretty good. The first 11, it's a balanced side. They have their bowling options. They have good batting options. Yashasvi Jaiswal is someone that I would like to actually see how he performs. This could be his breakout year, because last season also he played well in a few matches. I guess it was against Chennai where they chased down that 200 odd score pretty quickly, and him and Evan Lewis really started off the blocks pretty quickly. So this could be a breakout year for Jaiswal. Same could be said about Padikkal. I guess this is a franchise which has over the years given youngsters a good go. Over the last few years, they have bid and brought in a lot of good international names as well, but they've not performed that well. This is one franchise known for giving their youngsters a chance. So I would like to see how Jaiswal performs, how Padikkal performs. Riyan Parag, he divides opinions. There are some who really like him. There are some who absolutely hate him. I think that kid has got a good future.
He'll get mature with time. Once he gets more opportunities, when he is put into position of taking responsibilities and owners of the situation of the game, he will get better. Another name which I'm more interested in is Karun Nair. He's only 30. I would say Rajasthan got a steal getting Karun Nair that cheap. At some point of time in the tournament, he will have a role to play for Rajasthan Royals. And it is important for him and Rajasthan both that when his chance comes, he is able to grab that opportunity and, give us those score of runs, because he got chance when he was playing for Punjab. But I felt he was not at best of his frame of mind or form when, playing in those conditions. But in this Rajasthan team, I think he will get better opportunities and support from the team management, and it will be important for Karun Nair if he still aspires to play for India in the coming future. Another name I would be more interested to see is Navdeep Saini. I know he's pushing 30. He has been in the scheme of the Indian pace bowling attack for quite some time. He will also get chance at some point of time, because we cannot expect Prasidh Krishna or Trent Bolt or Jimmy Neesham to play the entire 14 games. So yes, Obaid McCoy and Navdeep Saini will get a chance. So it is important for them to take that opportunity as well.
Yeah, I was actually going to get there. I was going to get to Navdeep Saini. I think for some reason it seems like he has fallen off the radar a bit, and this could be his opportunity. Prasidh Krishna, Navdeep Saini. Yes, Prasidh Krishna is the flavor of the month. He has just won a man of the series, done well. But I like Saini. I like what he brings to the table. He's a good pace bowler, 140 plus. I think he'll enjoy bowling with Trent Bolt also. Bolt brings a very different kind of quality to the attack. And Ashwin and Chahal, I think that's a very good combination. They have two thinking cricketers, who read the game well. They are not in the best of forms in some sense. Or let's put it this way: they are on the wrong side of their peak right now. There is a declining value to what they offer.
One thing which has contributed to that is, I would say, Chahal and Saini, they were not in the best sides in the IPL. They were playing for RCB, and RCB ground and wicket is not the best for the kind of bowlers they are.
That I completely agree. I think RCB, you put in any bowler, and I think they're not going to have most likely they will have bad days than good days
Yeah.
in that college ground of a ground actually in terms of size, but it's a batting paradise that ground. Uh, just a few more observations. I think they don't have blockbuster uh, international names, but these players that they have bought are quite handy. Butler obviously is top drop. I mean, top three T20 batsman, maybe the best T20 batsman in the world. Uh, Venderson has done well for South Africa. He has been a rock for them in the middle order. We saw him play well in the one day tournament against India. He scored a pretty good century. He accelerated late, and he has got a good game. Shimron Hetmyer, we have seen what he can do. If he's in form, then he's one of the most destructive middle order batsmen because he can play pace and he can play spin. Uh, Jimmy Neesham again blows hot, blows cold. Currently, he looks good. He's in form. It looks like he is a good pick. Coulter-Nile, he's not the same Nathan Coulter-Nile of let's say 5 years or 6 years back, but a lot of experience, and that in some ways means that you have a pretty, let's say, young top 5 6, but the bowling attack looks very experienced. Bolt,
See,
Coulter-Nile.
I agree with Coulter part and Jimmy Neesham part, but see, my concern here is a lot of the batting revolves around Jos Buttler for Rajasthan. And another aspect is he's coming from a very bad Ashes tournament right now. He's not in best of confidence.
I think this would be a good time for him to put the Ashes back, and I think he will perform well. He's going to show us what he is.
I certainly hope that.
Yeah. I think Ashes is not going to have any bearing on this one. I also feel that Sanju Samson. I think there is a lot more to come from him. Is captaincy burdening him a bit? I'm not sure. I mean, there are two schools of thought here. That captaincy is not that important in T20, and there are strategists, there are data analysts, you have a coaching staff who will tell you what needs to be done. Then the other school of thought is that it's pretty important. You need to be on your toes, you need to make quick decisions, and yeah. I'm not sure where I belong. I certainly feel that data plays a big role, matchups play a big role, and these are some things that you know beforehand. On the field, there are a few decisions you kind of see. You gauge a player like what kind of shots he is playing, whether he looks in form or not, and then you can change your bowler accordingly. So I'm still a bit ambivalent on whether captaincy is good for him or not. But I think we are to see a lot more from Sanju Samson. We have not seen the best of him.
I agree. He's a very good batsman. I am completely in agreement with you that he might not be the best of captains, and I would not be surprised if Rajasthan is not doing well. We might see a different captain for Rajasthan in mid of the tournament.
That is something that's precisely why I raised the issue of captaincy, because they have been known to change captain midway. So yeah,
because they have the likes of Ashwin, they have likes of Butler, and if they are playing the entire tournament, you will be able to see Ashwin in the initial part of the tournament if he's a decent enough person to be slotted in the playing 11 for all the matches. And if team is not performing well, I would not be surprised if they change the skipper in mid of the tournament.
Yeah, that is one thing that you are never sure with Rajasthan, at least from their record in the past couple of years. So yeah, all in all, how will you rate the side out of 10?
See, I would rate them 5 in terms of their overall squad, especially because I do not feel they have a very good, foreign batting lineup. Yes, Venderson is there, but I'm not too convinced about Shimron Hetmyer. That is one aspect, and I'm Yes, Yashasvi Jaiswal and Devdutt Padikkal are pretty much promising talent in the Indian cricket circuit at the moment, but they do not have the firepower top of the order if Josh Butler is not performing well. You talked about Darren Mitchell, yes, but he has not been tested in Indian or subcontinent conditions that much in the white ball cricket format. So they have a very good bowling lineup, but I would say they are very thin in their batting.
Okay. The playing 11 obviously outrate somewhere around 7.5, but I get their squad looks a bit thin. Also, they bought four foreign players within a span of 4 minutes at the end of the auction. So I'm not sure whether they got the best buys there. They could have even gone for better players. With all due respect to Coulter-Nile and Daryl Mitchell, and even to a certain extent Jimmy Neesham, I think there were better players available in that pool. They could have gone for. Yeah. So 7 out of 10 for the playing 11. Squad maybe a couple of points less for them. So now let's move to another side where captaincy is an issue. Royal Challengers Bangalore. There were rumors that Shreyas Iyer has been earmarked as their next captain. They have put aside 20 crores for Shreyas Iyer. I think social media is full of those rumors, and it again came to that was fake news. They didn't go for Shreyas Iyer. Shreyas Iyer went for 12.25. Poor lad. So let's talk about Royal Challengers Bangalore. Anshul, what are your thoughts? Virat Kohli coming back as the captain?
Absolutely not. Before that, two things. It was not social media. It was only Akash Chopra, 20 crores for Shreyas Iyer. Secondly, there is a saying in Kannada, "A saal cup namde," which loosely translates to "this year cup will be ours." I don't see that happening again. I'm sorry, RCB fans. I stay in Bangalore, but that is not happening. Let's come back to the captaincy piece. For me, there can be only two names: Faf du Plessis or Glenn Maxwell. I am not convinced how good a captain is Glenn Maxwell when he is, not aware about all the players who are there in the squad. Okay. So one thing we need to understand is, in the IPL scenario, Indian captains fare better because they are dealing with 70 to 80% of the Indian players, which most of the foreign players might not be aware about. So when you talk about, say, for an example, like Harshal Patel or Anuj Rawat or Lavneet Susodia, who are there as part of the RCB team, person like Faf du Plessis or Glenn Maxwell might not have even heard of them before coming into the squad of the preparatory camp of this year's IPL. So
Harshal Patel, they would have heard, I guess.
Harshal Patel, yes. But I'm just talking about players who are only in the domestic arena and have not fared earlier either at the IPL tournament or in the Indian side. So yes, Virat Kohli will not be the captain. The other 2-3 options which I can think of, as I told you, Faf du Plessis, Glenn Maxwell, I'm not sure whether Dinesh Karthik would be interested, or if he's interested, he would be willing to take up that job. So that is an important aspect for me. So considering that, when we talk about Faf du Plessis as captain, he has not played cricket even for South Africa for quite some time. Last he played was the IPL in Dubai. Before that, he played was the first part of the last year IPL. That was in India. So Faf does not have a lot of game time behind him. Glenn Maxwell, yes, he did perform really well in last year's IPL, but his form has kind of deserted him in the BBL, in this year's BBL. And when we talk about form, Virat Kohli is not in best of form. So when we talk about captain, that is a secondary issue, I would say, for RCB right now. But they do not have a very strong or a sound squad because the bowling lineup is weak. Josh Hazlewood would be a good addition on certain conditions, but apart from him, I do not see a very good, frontline bowler. Yes, Siraj is performing better recently, but he's not a good 2020 or a one-day bowler. He is a very good red ball bowler, but he's not that great in T20. Yes, they bought Siddharth Kaul during the later part or towards the end of auction. I'm not sure how well he's going to fare up, or how much game time he has behind before the IPL starts. So yeah, they have batting options, but they are not in best of forms. I was, like few of the teams, I was struggling to frame their playing 11, because yes, we have Virat Kohli, we have Faf du Plessis, we have Maxwell, we have Dinesh Karthik, we have Wanindu Hasaranga, and we will bring in maybe a Mahipal Longroad. But after that, the sixth or the seventh batting options or one all-rounder option, that is something which I was struggling to fill in. Yes, there are few promising, domestic talent when you talk about like Anuj Rawat or Prabhu Desai, but we have not seen a lot of them in at the higher level or in the IPL, or even performing consistently for a couple of years over either SMAT or Vijay Hazare Trophy. The same with the bowling lineup. Yes, there is Harshal Patel, but again, as I said in the previous video, we have one sensation throughout the IPL history every season. I just hope Harshal Patel is not one of them. I strongly feel that he should come back and perform at the same level what he did last year, and I would like to see a rejuvenated and a much more experienced Siraj in the 2020 format, because right from the first ball he has bowled in red ball, he has been a great bowler. I cannot say the same thing when he's bowling in IPL or in 2020 format. I would like to see that thing here. But even when we talk about if these three bowlers are performing, we do not have the other two, good bowling options. Yes, Wanindu Hasaranga is there, but we saw he's not consistent. We saw that in the Australian T20Is, in the recent second OD 20Is, and even the first 20Is. Yes, he was bowling some great balls, but he was also bowling some very loose balls.
He does. He does go for runs. He
Yeah.
does go for runs. Yeah.
So that's the overall view for me from the RCB part.
Okay. If I can pick up from the bowlers, actually, Josh Hazlewood was not a great T20 bowler a couple of seasons back, and somehow it looks like he has found himself again in this format. I guess he bowled the 1 over eliminator against Sri Lanka that they won.
Super over.
Last year, yeah, super over. Last year in for Chennai, he played well, but then again, we can put it down to Dhoni utilizing him well. And here we don't have a captain. So forget about having Dhoni as a captain, but we don't have a captain. Yeah, I do see the concerns in their squad, but I feel like Harshal Patel, Hazlewood, and Siraj, they could have done worse actually. So this is a good attack, fairly good attack. If there is a captain who utilizes them well. Sorry, if Harshal has a season like he had last time around, Siraj is a much improved bowler in the T20 format than he was a couple of years back. Same for Hazlewood. Hazlewood is bowling pretty well in the T20 format. It looks a fairly decent side when you have a top five of du Plessis, Kohli, Maxwell, Karthik, and Hasaranga. That's a power-packed top five. Would you like to break it down a bit? Maybe bring Maxwell at 4, Karthik at 5, Hasaranga at 6, and play one of Lomror and or Anuj Rawat at 3? Maybe, possibly. They went for Anuj Rawat at what, 3.4 crore? I have seen his domestic record and it looks pretty decent. It looks pretty good. He was with Rajasthan previously. He can hit the ball pretty far, and same goes for Suyas Prabhu Desai also. He's a good young talent. If they can get like few good innings, maybe let's say 5 good innings out of the 14, their job would be pretty well done. And just one more point regarding the top order. Virat Kohli is not in the best of forms, but I think this is one format where he can just cut loose. He has given up the captaincy. There's no burden. He's absolutely free. He's not the captain of Indian side as well now. If we see the Virat of 2016, 2017, 2018, then 99 out of the 100 problems that Bangalore have will get resolved. straight away. Does not matter that they don't have a good backup, number 5, number 6 in good Indian backups there. It does not matter whether they have any backup at all in the squad for Indian batters. If Virat Kohli plays well, most of their problems are gone. So yeah, that would be my view for them. I think a lot will depend on how Virat performs and who the captain is.
There is a different view I would like to bring here when we talk about Virat Kohli. Yes, in starting couple of matches, he can go and go ahead and try to look positive and bat in a similar fashion what he did a couple of seasons ago. The problem is if he tries to do that, if he succeeds, is well and good. If in starting couple of matches, if he tries to do that, he does not play well, ends up scoring less runs, and then the team does not perform well. Then after a couple of matches, he will come with a different mindset, because he also knows that if he is not performing well, there are no batsmen who are able to contribute a lot to the team. So that might play another factor. Now you talked about splitting up the batsmen. Now I have a strong believer. Your best batsman should bat ahead of all the others. Now, if I would have had 2 or 3 good batsmen, and then I would have to play around the other 3-4 extras, then yes, I might have looked to split them up. But I have a solid 5 batsmen out of the 7. I would like to bat them in 1 to 5 position, because they will give me the best chance to score, say 170, 180, which would be good enough in the Mumbai scenario, I would say. So yeah, I would not like to split them up. I would still go ahead with Faf, Virat, Maxwell, Karthik, and Hasaranga as my top 5. Yes, we can change them around among themselves. Karthik can come at 5, Hasaranga can go at 4, or Maxwell can come down a order, and Karthik or Hasaranga can go and bat at 3. Those things I'm up for it, but they need to bat at top 5.
They need to be flexible. Obviously, they need to be flexible, because they have to somehow put in 2 young Indian batsmen somewhere in the order. But I think if you have 9 very good players in a league like IPL with 10 teams, where every team has some hole to fill up, even in their 11. Forget about the squad, but even within the 11, each team has some loopholes. I think this side looks pretty decent. The playing 11 looks pretty decent. In fact, I feel that they have pretty good these backups when it comes to foreign players, even domestic players. I'll go through a few of them. David Willey is a very, very good T20 player. He can bat, he can tonk. He's a good bowler. He has got variety. So that's someone they can bring in anytime. They have Jason Behrendorff, underrated bowler. Yes, he is on the other side of 30, but he's an experienced campaigner. He has played T20 cricket for a long time. He regularly plays in the BBL. That's experience there. You have Finn Allen, top order batsman. He actually, they can go. They can bring him as an opener. Sorry, they can bring him as an opener. In fact, if they feel like they are having a problem in the middle order, they can bring him up, maybe open with Fab and him, Virat at 3, and then go down the order with Maxwell and Karthik. And
see, one thing I'll point out about the things you talked about as replacements. Most of the players you talked about has they have an element as a batsman, but we were not able to talk about a solid backup bowler.
I think David Willey and Behrendorff are good bowlers. They are good pacers. They are good backup pacers. I think they have in that way they have some. Actually, there's one guy who I want to see how he performs. It's Chama Milind. He's 27. I know. I saw him for the first time in 2014 Under-19 World Cup along with Avesh Khan, if my memory serves me right. Maybe I'm wrong with the batch, or I'm wrong that he played with Avesh, but I have seen him in one of the Under-19 World Cups and he was doing pretty well. And then he fell off the radar for some time. but he has been doing decently in the domestic in domestic cricket. So I would like to see how he does. We have Anishwar Gautam, an all-rounder who was with the under-19 side this time around. Siddharth Kaul has been a consistent feature of IPL. He was with Virat Kohli in the 2008 World Cup winning squad in Malaysia. In fact, he was the one who took the last wicket and then slid down the stadium in Malaysia. And I think he is a good backup option. Experienced fellow, has played a lot of IPL games. If required, you can call him. I know that he will not give you 4 overs for 24. It's more like 4 overs for 40. But he has the potential to pick up wickets, and he can be a good cover for if in case some players get injured. So all in all, not a bad squad. Team looks good. Initially, I thought that it's a shaky team, but I think if Virat Kohli performs, this team has got potential. But there are 2 caveats. Kohli is not in good form. They don't have a captain as of yet. So, yeah.
Again, I would like to say the same point again here. It's the batsmen who will have to carry this team. I do not see RCB able to defend low scores with this bowling lineup.
That is something that is quite possible. That I can agree on. This is not a bad bowling lineup, but yes, I can agree that
they will not be able to defend 130, 140 on a decent batting wicket.
Batting track, they may not be.
But there will be games where if the batsman are able to click, they might be able to chase down big scores. So it's a batsman who will have to carry this RCB team like the previous RCB teams, what they have done in the past.
Do you think that they made a mistake by having only 22 players? Because it feels like they needed a few more Indian batting backups. Maybe younger players, maybe under 19 players, but they needed some batting backup. When I go through the squad, actually, I don't see a Indian batting backup at all.
See, you know what? I'm a big fan of Virat Kohli as a batsman, but I am not a big fan of Virat Kohli as a captain in white ball cricket. So before this season, when RCB was not usually when they were not in a good position from a selection point of view, I used to think a lot was from the decision making what Virat Kohli was making. But what this year auction told me that RCB does not have a very sound, team management from the auction perspective. Again, this is just my opinion. Because when I'm looking at all these players, you talk about Karun Sharma, you talk about Siddharth Kaul, they have not performed that well in the last 2 seasons of the IPL.
I'm actually smiling because Mike Hassan is generally thought of to be a very good strategist. Last time around, they released a few video footage of their auction strategy and taking the mickey out of other teams. But I agree with you; they have been pretty poor on the auction table, and the management does not look the best.
I'll not talk about names here, but not every person will fit in every environment, and I feel Mike has. It's similar with Mike, I would say. Stephen Fleming was, has seamlessly integrated with CSK, but we cannot talk about the same happening with Anil Kumble for the Indian cricket team. So, and Anil Kumble is a champion bowler in his own rights. So that's why I feel he's a good coach, but I somehow feel that, picking up the players is not the best forte for this team management for RCB.
Yeah. I think if we look at the squad, we get the vibe that it's not the best squad that they have picked up. They had money in the bank. They needed more players. They could have picked up some good Indian talent, for let's say base price or maybe 30, 40, 50 lakhs, and they didn't go for it. And it didn't go for them. So
the other 2 names which are missing here is AB de Villiers and Yuzvendra Chahal. So Kohli, de Villiers and Chahal, these were the common names across most of the RCB squads. But de Villiers
and they carried RCB.
Yes, and they carried RCB. So every time, a RCB fan, when they were going to a particular match for RCB for an IPL, they were hoping these three people to perform. And yes, they were different people for different years. So you got Maxwell in the last couple of years. You bought Daniel Christian for 1 year. You bought Aaron Finch for 1 year. Then you had different set of people. But these three were essentially the core of the RCB. And when these three people were performing, RCB was performing well. Now you do not have two of the players, and you're the main batsman. He's not in form. So that's why I fear a bit for RCB, because if Virat Kohli or Maxwell or Fab du Plessis, they have too much dependence on these three players, and if they are not able to perform well, I'm a bit afraid for RCB.
Yeah, I think same goes here as well. I don't think they are one of the top teams this time around, and they may struggle to get into the playoffs. I would say. I know it's early. We are just looking at the team and like making these kind of judgments, but I feel that looking at other squads, I think yeah, it'll require like a big effort from their big players. They have good players. They also have also brought in Dinesh Karthik, so he will provide some kind of stability. I like Karthik as a player. I like him a lot, and I've been following his career. Even at this age, he's playing regularly. He's playing domestic cricket regularly. He did well in Vijay Hazare this year, or let's say last year. He scored a century in the final, so he's in good form. It will have to be these players. It will have to be the experience of du Plessis, Kohli, Maxwell, Karthik, the variety that Hasaranga brings, and Hazlewood has to play well for them to.
One thing which I would have
do
liked
anything.
from Virat Kohli to do here is, I know has been playing a lot of cricket, but since he has not been able to spend that much amount of time in the crease, I would have liked him to skip the West Indies ODI series. I'm not sure whether that is happening or not. I have not seen the squad of India versus West Indies T20 series.
T20.
Yeah, T20.
Series, okay.
I would have liked him to skip that series and maybe play 1 or 2 games of the Ranji Trophy for Delhi side, just to spend time on the crease. That is something which I would have liked Virat Kohli to do.
That's actually a good thought. Yeah, that's actually a good thought. I'm not sure how many people follow domestic cricket, but I think Kohli going back maybe for one game, maybe just for
Absolutely.
one game. I think it will declutter. I guess it will declutter his mind. He will go there. He has grown up in those okay, the matches aren't going to be in Delhi, but he started his career with Ranji Trophy and doing well there. Going back to that setup maybe would help him a bit.
It's
I'm
just
not sure.
Spending some time in the middle. That is something which he needs right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not a bad idea actually if he can do it. So let's move on to our next side, the Kolkata Knight Riders, another team that required a captain. They have not yet announced it, but they picked up Shreyas Iyer, and I feel that he's going to be their next captain. What do you think about Kolkata Knight Riders' strategy in the auction, and how does the team look to you, Anshul?
To be honest, I think they are one of the contenders to be in the top 4. They have a pretty decent overall squad. The one place where they are lacking, which what I feel is the Indian pace bowlers. They do not have a very experienced Indian pace bowling lineup, but they compensate that with Pat Cummins. Again, he's one of the players there, but along with say Umesh Yadav, Sunil Narine, and Chakravarti, I think they have a pretty decent bowling lineup. One thing which I'm not happy about is their retention part. I'm not sure if they had the best retention mechanism when you talk about Andre Russell, Sunil Narine. Yes, they have been playing in the global T20 leagues across the world, but Andre Russell has not been in the greatest of forms this last few seasons, I would say. Even when you talk about last year IPL, there was only 1 or 2 innings where he was actually, able to score runs in the way what we are expecting out of Andre Russell. So that is one area which I felt they could have, again, in the hindsight, Andre Russell was not the best retention, I would say. Saying that, Rahane was a steal for them, I would say. I know Rahane is not in the greatest of form, but he's a pretty decent batsman in the IPL league. And when you are able to get him in the base price, nothing like that. But they do not have a very explosive top order. Yes, they have Shreyas Iyer, they have Nitish Rana, they have Venkatesh Iyer, they have Sheldon Jackson, they have Ajinkya Rahane. But the hitting part would come to Andre Russell if he's able to do that. Sam Billings, if Alex Hills gets a game, it will come down to Alex Hills or to Mohammad Nabi. And when you are playing Pat Cummins and Sunil Narine, you will be only able to play one or two of these three foreigners, because you still need wicketkeeper, which I believe Sam Billings would do that role. So essentially, you are only left with one position. So out of Andre Russell, Alex Hales, Mohammad Nabi, you will end up playing only one player. And since you have retained Russell, I would believe that he will be in the playing lineup at least during the starting of the tournament.
I think they've got some interesting domestic picks, apart from the ones that will be playing in the possible that will possibly start. Rahane, I agree. I think there's something about Rahane. He needs to prove himself again. I mean, he has done a lot for Indian cricket. So some would say that there's nothing for him to prove, but he has been out of form. There are a lot of question marks over his India career right now in red ball cricket. I think if he opens with Iyer, if he's given a pretty simple brief, just go out there and attack, I think that would be the best thing for Rahane. I feel that with Iyer and Rahane, they have a decent opening pair, not the best. I don't think they are anywhere in the top three when it comes to opening setups in the tournament, but it's a decent one. I'm a bit concerned about Nitish Rana, especially for the price range at which they have taken him, around 7 odd crore. I think there were better options. Even within KKR, there are better options. And straight away, two players come to my mind. One is Sheldon Jackson, one is Rinku Singh. Both of them have very decent domestic record. Sheldon Jackson has been one of the marquee domestic players for quite some time now in domestic cricket. And Rinku Singh has also got a pretty decent domestic record. So I think when I saw them pick Sheldon Jackson, I knew they would be going for Rinku Singh because he has been in the squad. Going for Rana at 7 crore, I thought they could have better utilized that money. Since they have taken him, I think he will be playing. There is some kind of there's a rhyme in their top order with Iyer, Rahane, Rana, Iyer kind of thing, ABBA there. Sam Billings was a good pick at base price, but if they go with Alex Hales to open and bring in Sheldon Jackson at number 5, I don't think that will be such a downgrade to the lineup that we spoke about. Saying that, yes, this looks a good squad, but there are certain holes in the lineup as well. If we come to the bowling, Pat Cummins is a good bowler, but he does not have a record in IPL like, let's say, someone like Kagiso Rabada has over the years. So it will be interesting to see him take up the role of lead bowler here, and let's see how he performs. Shivam Mavi, again, good under 19 prospect. People have been talking about him for last 4 years now. I think this has to be his breakout year. He bowled decently in the last edition, but this has to be his breakout year. Varun Chakravarti has done well for them over the last 2 seasons, but I'm worried about his fitness. If he's fit, Narayan Chakrabarti will put in the squeeze in the middle overs, so they won't be easy to score. So that looks a pretty decent batting lineup. Pretty decent lineup actually. They have picked up some good backup players in Mohammad Nabi, Team Saudi, Alex Hales. If we are playing Sam Billings, I don't think Alex Hales' place is there in the 11, but he's a good backup. So that looks pretty fine to me. There's one interesting pick here called a guy called Ramesh Kumar. So I was just reading up on him, and I saw a video. He scored a 10 ball 50 in a tennis ball tournament, which put him in the limelight. And then Kolkata called him for trials, and then they have given him. So that's a good story, actually. Someone picking up 20 lakhs, playing basically bottom level club cricket, I would say, because I saw the video and the bowling didn't seem quite threatening. That's a very interesting pick. Chamika Karunaratne, an all-rounder from Sri Lanka, bit of an unknown quantity. I don't know if there is a place for him or whether he can replace Russel if required, if Russel is not in the best of form or if he's injured, because we know that Russel is not the fittest of the guys. So yes, it's a decent squad. They have got some decent backups. They can go till the playoffs. They can be pretty competitive, but I think it will all depend on what kind of forms these players take to the IPL. And
See, if Andrew Russell is not fit, I would directly slot in Mohammad Nabi. So I would feel he's a much better replacement as comparison to Karunaratne. I know he's also a good player, but Nabi has much more experience there. You talked about Rinku Singh, Sheldon Jackson, and Nitish Rana. I would still feel Nitish Rana has proved his worth to KKR. Rinku Singh has got has gotten opportunities with KKR, but I don't feel he has put in a lot of runs to warrant a place as of now in the playing 11. Saying that about Sheldon Jackson, I know he has scored big runs in domestic cricket. Will he be able to translate the same amount of runs when he's playing at IPL? It's time will only tell. And I feel that if Rahane is not able to, take up the opportunity, which I feel he will slot up directly in the playing 11, at least during the start of the tournament, Jackson might replace him in the batting order. That is something which I feel might happen. I'm not so sure about Alex Hales. Yes, he has been playing 2020 tournaments, even in the Big Bash League, but he's not in the best of form. And he's someone who likes pace on the bat when he's batting to make, he's a proper stroke maker. And he was even struggling in the fast and bouncy wickets in Australia. So I'm not sure if Alex Hales will directly slot in the playing 11 unless, Sam Billings or say, for example, Russell both get injured. So I do not see that happening before that. Saying that about Pat Cummins, I feel again, it's just a devil's advocate kind of thing. If you do not want Shreyas Iyer as a captain, I think Pat Cummins is also a very good option for KKR to go as a captain, because Iyer has been just slotted in KKR team, but Pat Cummins was also there last year as well. And there are a lot of players in the team who have been carried forward from the last season. So Pat Cummins will be in a much better position to interact with all those players. Saying that, yes, Shreyas Iyer can also do the same job because most of the players are Indian players as well. The two players which I would be interested to see forward, one would be Anukul Roy. I feel at somewhere down the line in the tournament he will get his opportunity, and the other would be Umesh Yadav. Somehow I feel Umesh Yadav has been, gone down the radar in the white ball cricket format. I do not feel that he performed that bad that he was dropped out of the ODI or the T20 squad. But if this is an opportunity, because unless he is not fit, he should play most of the games for KKR. So it would be a good opportunity for him to, show his worth as a backup seam bowler going forward to a T20 World Cup or 50-over World Cup in the next year.
So you talked about Anukul Roy, so I was actually going to talk about him. There are another couple of good Indian. good or bad, I guess time will tell. But there are a couple of interesting Indian picks. One is Baba Indrajit. Baba Indrajit and Baba Aparajit both play for Tamil Nadu, and Baba Indrajit has been in good form. So that's another interesting backup option. And there's another guy called Rashik Dar. Now Rashik Dar was picked by Mumbai Indians a couple of seasons back. He's from Jammu and Kashmir. He had some issues with his action. That was corrected, and then he's back. He can bowl fast. He can bowl pretty fast. So that's an interesting choice. I'm not sure whether he will play or not, but if Mavi is not in good form, I would like to see him, like whether he has improved or not, and what he brings to the table, because he can bowl pace. So yes, some good, interesting Indian backups. They have. I think they do have better Indian backups than most teams. With the likes of Rinku Singh and Sheldon Jackson. Yes, I know Rinku has been there and has not got his. I would say he has not got enough opportunities. So, but proven domestic performers, Rinku Singh, Sheldon Jackson, Baba Indrajit. These are certain players that I would like to keep an eye for. And Anukul Roy, from what I have seen of him since his under 19 days, from what I've seen him do for Mumbai Indians as well, I guess, I mean, this is a big statement to make, but I think he is the best Indian fielder right now. I mean, I will rate him above even Ravindra Jadeja for that matter as a fielder, but that's not saying much. I mean, fielding is a secondary skill. I guess you have to be good at your primary skill, which is a left arm spinner. So I think I don't have much to say about the KKR squad, apart from the fact that I would give them a 7.58 for their playing 11 squad, maybe 6.57, something around that, because they have got some good Indian talent that we should keep an eye for, and their starting 11 is pretty good if they can sort out certain issues, and I think they are good to go.
I agree on most of the things you said, but I don't feel Baba Indrajit is someone who will get an opportunity when you already have Sheldon Jackson and Sam Billings. So
I think just a backup, I think he has done well. He has done well in domestic, and he has got an opportunity here, even with the fact that it's just at base price.
Mm-hmm.
But being around players, being around someone like Sam Billings, someone like Andre Russell and Pat Cummins,
absolutely,
you'll learn a lot. And just one more point regarding the captaincy. I think if there is a World 11 for cricket, I'll make Pat Cummins the captain of that World 11. I just feel he is the best cricketer right now in the world for me. I don't know. Let's see. Generally in IPL, it's preferable to have a Indian captain. So let's end it at that.
One more point. I would be surprised if Kolkata will not be able to reach the top 4. I expect them to reach there with the kind of playing 11 and few of the bench strength which they have. That is something which I expect out of this Kolkata team.
Yeah, I think this time the traditional Metros may go to the playoffs, but yeah, that's still a long way, and we'll talk about it. I guess we'll do a lot of episodes when the IPL is actually going on, so we'll talk about that, and we'll see how these teams shape up. So that's it from our side. Thank you for watching. I would request all of you to please share, subscribe, like, spread the word about the Amateur Commentator, and thank you for watching.